What is good, everybody? Yes, I am bundled up, and yes, I have to be because it is cold. Yes, okay, get over that. That's gonna be the way it is. This ain't summer no more. This is winter. This is winter. Um, I want to address a topic today because I think it's fun. I think it's fun to address this one. Um, I don't know how many of you know the story of, and we kind of touched on the precursor part of the story last week when it came to Elisha and Elijah. And hey, welcome back, Retro. Um, and there was a part of the story that we didn't touch on. But the reason I wanted to touch on it was because um, many people see this particular story and they get mad, like really mad. They get big mad. And this is a one of the stories that most atheists don't shy away from. Uh, they love going to this story to prove God being evil and wicked and blah 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 blah. So we're going to read it and see how much of it actually is true from their account of it. Okay, the story can be found in Second Kings, and in Second Kings we're going to go from 19. Now, if you remember, this was when just after Elijah got taken. Okay, because remember they were walking. He had been told that this was going to happen. That God was going to take his prophet from him, his teacher, and it finally happened. And he witnessed it, and he wanted to have the mantle fall on him. Elisha said, "If I witness you go to heaven, let your mantle fall to me." And sure enough, that happened. So as they're progressing along with the story, you might find it petty that I'm laughing, but I'll tell you why I'm laughing in a minute. This is the portion after you know, he comes back to town without Elijah. And this is what was said. 19. Then the men of the city said to Elisha, "Please notice the situation of the city is pleasant as my Lord sees, but the water is bad and the ground is barren. Now, please remember that he is there and they're telling him a problem." Okay? A problem. He continues, and he said, "Bring me a new bowl and put salt in it." So they brought him to him, and then he went out to the source of the water and cast the salt in there and said, "Thus says the Lord, I have healed this water. From it there shall be no more death or barrenness." So the water remains healed to this day, according to the word of Elisha that he spoke. Now remember, he just came from helping a whole city. An entire city was barren and death because of water. And this man went to the source of the water and healed it. So I want you to know that Elisha isn't just walking around doing dumb stuff. He's doing stuff to help people. You know what I'm saying? Okay, cool. So let's continue. Let's continue. This is where it gets good. Then he went up from there to Bethel. And as he was going up the road, now, mind you, he's not at Bethel. He just left where he helped people at. All right? I want to tell you that. He just helped people, tons of people. Life, limb, water is bad, helped them. Okay? This is Second Kings 2. Okay? Now he up on the road, some youths came from the city, the same city he just helped, and said to him, "Go up, you bald head, go up, you bald head." So he turned around and looked at them and pronounced a curse on them in the name of the Lord. And two female bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of the youths. Now, this is where people say God okayed the mauling and destroying of children, but they're not children, they were young men. I want to make sure we get that clear. But even if you want to say that they're children, you are talking about a man, a little older man, and he's not a young buck, he's not spry, going up the road by himself, and 42 or more people surround him and are antagonizing him. I want you to be clear about what's going on. Okay? Hang on. I don't want nobody coming to tell me that he's doing this by just looking at some people just chilling and he just says, "Bear, get him." That's not what that ain't what happened. No, no, no. This man just came from doing the deed that nobody could do, left it. "Get out of here, bald head." And then bears. Then he went from there to Mount Carmel and from there to Samaria. Now, let's have a talk about what it really means. For all intents and purposes, this man is a prophet. Okay, that's what he is, a prophet sent directly by God, given certain abilities by God to do certain things that God allows. We have a situation here where people are peopling, and the prophet is doing what God wants him to do. He went out, performed a miracle for the water, left the town, no problem for anybody, and boom, aggravation. Now, I guess you can say that's a little extreme reaction for a man just getting called out for being bald. That's what you could say. He did nothing. They did nothing to him. All they did was say, "Go out, bald head. Go out, bald head." I have a suspicion that there's more that went on that we weren't told, but I'm not going to add to or speculate. We're just going to go based on the statement of "go up, bald head." But what was the track record for prophets back in the day? What was the track record? What was normally done to them? They got antagonized and beaten and put in prison since the beginning of the time that you have found prophets. Lions den, furnaces, killed, mauled, prison, you name it, right? If that is the case, wouldn't it you think that maybe Elisha watched these 42 people and thought, "You know what? I'm gonna get a head start. I'm gonna jump the gun and say, wham. There you go. Take that. Now you ain't gonna mess with me no more." Now, was he right or was he wrong for doing that? Now, remember what the statement said was what? He said, he looked around and looked at them and pronounced a curse on them in the name of the Lord. In the name. Okay, so God approved it. God approved it. It happened, and they were mauled. Now, what it doesn't say is if they were killed. Now, I don't know if they were killed. It just said mauled. You can be mauled by a bear and survive. You can be mauled by a bear and take off running. You can be mauled by a bear and be dismembered, and you can be mauled by a bear and die altogether. I get it. I get it. But all it says is that they were mauled. Now, that's if they lived. That was a great life lesson of what not to do. Great life lesson to those youths. Right? Now, suppose suppose a few of them died. What do you think no one ever probably did again was what? Antagonize Elisha. You might think to yourself, what is the point of this message here, this talking, this conversation? What's the point of it? It's twofold. One, to don't antagonize people who are really part of God's kingdom, because you never know what exactly they're going to call down to have happen. However, secondarily, um, the sign of a true prophet, not the ones that we have today, okay? Not the clowns that you see today talking about the prophet and they need money and they have a blessing for you that's coming if you do this and if you do that. Um, that's not today. They're not any Elisha type prophets. In fact, there are no, in my estimation, no prophets. None. I keep hearing people say there are prophets. And I keep seeing people saying they're prophets. And not a one of them behave like a prophet. 90% of the prophets in the book had almost no wealth. In fact, their number one thriving process was in squalor, poverty. Some of them had some wealth, but majority of them broke as all get out. What do you see the difference is today? All kinds of money, like cars and nice clothes and living the best life ever. They're always asking for money. I don't ever see them doing things like the prophets of old used to do, where they would go to a place, bless the place, and it would just thrive. I don't see that happening today. I don't even see them going to a widow and saying, bring me your oil and your flour. And since you don't have enough oil and flour, bless the oil and flour. And it just never ends. I don't see them doing that neither. I don't see them doing that. Hang on. I don't see them doing that. In fact, I don't see the church doing that, period. But we'll digress from that. We already covered that with that lady that made those phone calls. But I don't see the pastors or the prophets or these apostles doing anything at all. One, in the name of God that profits the body, or two, in the name of God that proves God's power. I see them showing their own and their own wishes and their wants and all that stuff. I see that, but I don't see God. Every time I read about one, the things they say comes through. The things they bless stays blessed. The word they say comes out and becomes reality. The curses they place come to fruition. I don't know if people really read this book and see what a prophet should be, because they don't seem to show any of the fruits of a prophet. They can't even get bears to go maul people that insult them. And trust me, we have done our share of insulting, right? If there really are prophets, hear me out. If you really are a prophet and somebody tells you, hey, you're worthless, go up your bald head, go go up your bald head, and just degrading everything you've ever done for God. That's what you say, it's for God. Um, wouldn't it somehow in you be able to be like, you know what? I'll show you. Not one time. All you can do is break out into some gibberish tongues. Hmm? That's all you can do. To turn to Bruce Almighty, is that's the new calling card for the prophet? How, I was gonna ask how we got here, but I know how we got here. We got here because people really, 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 really don't care about what source people are coming from. They just care about signs. And it doesn't even have to be a legit sign. It just has to be said it's a sign. You don't got to prove that you even know God if you're a prophet. You just got to say it. Okay, you want an example of a prophet? Here's a prophet. Okay, today's prophet. Hold on, I'll get you an amazing prophet. You ready for a good prophet? One of the best prophets to ever grace the earth. She is the. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's a she. She is one of the best prophets you'll ever see. The best of the best of the best, sir. That's wild. Break that down for me. I'm not reading that correctly. I don't think. I need you to break that open for me. Explain that because I'm reading it, but I'm not getting it. I'm not saying you're saying anything. I'm just saying I'm reading it, but I'm not getting what you mean. I don't see prophets like in the Old Testament, but one that speaks the word of God as written today. I don't. Is that are you meaning that there are prophets that that's what I'm saying. I'm not quite sure what you mean by the statement. I'm not coming at nobody. I'm just asking for clarification, please. No, no, no. This is the bestest prophetess ever. All right, listen.
Lady back there, don't pick your phone up another time. This is why you have to be invited, because we don't want paparazzi here. We don't want picture snapping people unless you can photograph God.
Huh? I'm confused because I'm going to tell you I'm confused for two reasons. These are the same people that want you to know that they are well off. But don't pick up your phone. This is not about this is why you have to be invited. I didn't know that's how that worked. I didn't know that you had to be invited into the presence of people like Juanita Biden in order to be there. I guess that makes sense because you just can't show up to her place because you know what? You might have to go through some security before you get there. And everybody knows security is the best thing ever. Oh my word, this lady. Anyway, prophets, prophets. These are prophets now. Back in the day, a prophet would lead people to God. Today, a prophet leads people to the front of the church to give money. That's what it is. Let me see if I can find that one. There was one. Um, hold on, I know what it is. I remember what the title. I think I remember now. Um, because she's one of the better ones, because we got to stick with her for a minute. All right, here's a good one. Here's a very good one, and I think this will be a great example of where they have taken stories like Elisha's story and gone full ham. Okay. Oh no, like the Old Testament prophet spoke of future events, the New Testament was the written word. I get it. So there, I'm assuming that you believe that there aren't any, at least currently. I can't call them prophets. I can call them something else, but I can't feasibly call them prophets. I really can't. I don't feel right about calling them prophets. There are things I can call them for sure, but prophet ain't one of them. Here she is again. So this is a beautiful example of okay.
So Kathy, I thought he was going to say, pour a little bit in the bottle. And he said, but these people, he said, these people are weapons. These people would not be the people that just pray a little bit. These people will point their weapon. These people will tell the devil, if you don't shut up, I'm going to get my weapon. Because the weapons of my warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty through God to the pulling down.
This this lady this lady pulled out a whole water gun full with oil. A whole water gun filled with oil. Oil. What in what in the frying pan salesman is going on here? What in the frying pan salesman is going on here? You see, what has happened now is that they read stories like the one about Elisha. They read stories about Samuel. They read about all the prophets of old, Moses and Abraham. They read about them. And they believe that the action is what made them prophets. These people believe that the action, the things that they read about that they did, is what made them prophets. That's not what makes a prophet. A prophet isn't a prophet because of what they can do. A prophet is a prophet because of who sent them to do what they're doing. None of them did any of the stuff they could have done without the sender. Today, they just want to do without the sender and say the sender sent them. Isaiah, you name one prophet from any of the places that you can read of, not one of them acted outside of a relationship and ascending of God. Even to Elisha and calling of bears to maul those who mocked him. Do not forget, the mantle that fell to Elisha came from a man who was not. He just whoop, chariots, whirlwind, heaven. That's where he got his. Okay, that was his teacher. The promise made was, when I go and you see me go, I'm gonna leave what I was with you. We ain't talking about no fly by night prophet. Elisha wasn't one of some a little soft version, Timu version of a prophet. Elisha was a prophet. Okay, a prophet, a known prophet. Because remember, when they were coming, they knew who was coming and what was taking place. All the people knew before they got there. They knew. Before they even got that, they knew. But for some odd reason, today, it's all about the action. Bring the action. It's all action. If I can pretend, if I can act, if I can look as though I have done something, I heard someone say that Luscious was blocked. I went and checked and she was. I wonder why was that? Did any who accidentally or purposefully blocked Luscious? Anybody? Cause there'll be heads rolling if y'all did it on purpose. I promise. I'm promise. Just say it was a mistake. If it was a mistake, let me know. Somebody put her on. Somebody blocked her, and I just checked, and sure enough, she was. So I unblocked her. So Luscious, when you get this message, I'm sorry. I don't know who did it, but I'll find out. I'll find out. Then I'll make a whole episode about you. Just joking. I won't, but I'll call you out. It's been going on for a while. Who would have done that? I'm about to look into that one. I'm about to look into that. I don't know why, because I haven't seen any statements that came out, and it would have to have been a mod. It would have had to been a mod. It wouldn't have been me because I don't normally, there has to be a mod that did it. Just need to know which mod. Anyhow, the way things are going today, they don't go to God to get nothing. It's about what they see. They see something act up and then boom. They just do it. I don't see them doing half the stuff that they should be doing. I don't see them helping the poor. I don't see them manufacturing food for the needy. I don't see them doing any of that. Welcome back, Luscious. I don't know what happened, but I'm going to find out. I promise you I'll find out. I have a suspicion it was accidental, but I'm going to find out. Make sure it don't happen no more. We have to start understanding this, okay? You, as a believer, cannot be looking to these fools for guidance because they don't even follow who you say you follow. If you are out there and you say you follow God, these idiots do not. It is pretty blatant and obvious that they do not know or follow God. If they did, the word would be enough. And they wouldn't take leaps of faith to say stuff without having the okay. Even those who don't espouse being prophets think that they have the ability of a prophet by saying, God told me. They love that one. God told me. God told me. I heard from God today, and God said, and God said, and God said. And don't remember that God said, God said, God said, God said. What he said when he said what he said when he said it is God said. It's always God said. But they never tell you anything true about what God said. Like at all. You name me and I'll show it to you. You'd show me one person on the spectrum of a pastor, preacher, prophet, apostle, any of them. Put one of them out there and show me something that they said God said to them and show it to me happening. Just show me it happening anywhere. Just show me. Show me it coming to fruition. Anybody, please. I don't know how they find out that God said and God said and God said, but they can't show you the product of that God said. Why can't they? What's up with that? I think we all know one very important person that does that a lot, right? To the point where they apologize for getting something wrong that God told them about. I think you all know who that is. But he's not the only one. There are multiple of them that will tell you God said this. Look at Mr. Jennings, for instance, right? Mr. Jennings tells you that he got his calling to be an apostle by Jesus himself showing up in his room and talking directly face to face with him, and then he became an apostle. That's what Geno Jennings wants you to believe, that Jesus showed up in his room. That's crazy work, right? And this ain't old stuff. It's like new. He's been saying this for a while now. He told people that he, in order to become an apostle, witnessed Jesus in his room, standing in front of him, talking to him. And that he told him, "You are going to be an apostle." At it, damn it. Yet. And Jesus showed up. Yes, he did. Showed up in my room. He told me that I was going to be an apostle of God. Amen. Hallelujah. 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 Greater works. Greater works. Yeah. Those are these people. And of course, as usual, they have to add a little bit of truth with a little bit of lie to make you believe what they're saying. Elisha didn't have to do that. None of the prophets had to do that. Not a single one of them had to do that. Even before Elisha, all right, even before Elisha did what he was doing, after Elijah went up to be in the whirlwind, Elijah did something, a pretty big thing. Okay. And I'll show you the power that they have no possession of today. Okay. In 1 Kings 18, so Ahab sent for all the children of Israel and gathered the prophets together on Mount Carmel. And Elijah came to all the people and said, "How long will you falter between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal, follow him." See how cut and dry, no fanfare. I do remember that. That was a great, and I might have to find that one. That was a great video when we told him about TD Jakes, TD fakes. But the people answered him not a word. Then Elijah said to the people, "I alone am left a prophet of the Lord, but Baal's prophets are 450 men." Therefore, let them give us 2 bulls, and let them choose 1 bull for themselves. Cut it into pieces and lay it on the wood, but put no fire under it. And I will prepare the other bull and lay it on the wood, but put no fire under it. Then you call on the name of your gods, lowercase g, and I will call on the name of the Lord, and the God who answers by fire, he is God. So the people answered and said, "It is well spoken." Now Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, choose one bull for yourselves and prepare it first, for you are many, and call on the name of the Lord of your God, but put no fire under it. So they took the bull which was given them, and they prepared it and called in the name of Baal from morning till noon, saying, "Oh Baal, oh Baal, oh Baal, hear us." But there was no voice, no one answered. Then they leaped about the altar which they had made. Sound a lot like what they do today, doesn't it? Doesn't it? They just start galloping around. Baal, Baal, Baal. Did they do that today? Running up and down the stage like some possessed person. So it was noon that Elijah mocked them. I keep telling y'all, listen, y'all may not believe it, but the reason we have a sense of humor is because the Creator has one. Y'all may not want to believe that, but listen to me carefully. That if you have kids, if you have children, if you got animals, you can't tell me that God don't have a sense of humor. Funny, hilarious, hilarious, hilarious. So it was noon that Elijah mocked them and said, "Cry aloud." Oh, cry aloud, for he is God. Either he is meditating, or he's busy, or he's on a journey, or perhaps he's sleeping and must not, and must be awakened. See, that right there, that's petty. That right there. That right there. I don't care who you are. That's funny. Hey, cry a little bit louder. He's a God. Remember, you got to cry real loud. Maybe dude meditating, or he busy. Maybe he's busy. Or he probably went somewhere to come back, or he's sleeping and you need to wake him up. And y'all complain when I do this to people. Anyway, so they cried aloud and they cut themselves, as it was their custom, with knives and lances until the blood gushed out of them. Now you're going to say what? See, Elijah pushed them to commit suicide. He didn't tell them to do none of that. He told them to cry more and make sure you wake up your boy, because your boy's sleeping. When midday was past, they prophesied until the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice. But there was no voice. No one answered. No one paid attention. Dang. Oh, man. It's rough. Then Elijah said to all the people, "Come near to me. Come on, y'all. Come over here." So all the people came near to him, and he repaired the altar of the Lord that was broken down. And Elijah took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, to whom the word of the Lord had come, saying, Israel shall be your name. Then with the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord and made a trench around the altar. Now you're about to see a flex like nothing else. You're about to see a flex. Hey, look, they in the book are called vipers and fools. Monkey is a cheap name. Cheap name. You're about to see a flex from Elijah like you ain't never seen a flex by nobody before. Watch the flex. All right, watch the flex. He made a trench around the altar large enough to hold 2 seahs of seed. And he put the wood in order, cut the bull into pieces, and laid it on the wood, and said, "Fill 4 water pots with water, and pour it on the burnt sacrifice and on the wood. Soak everything." Then he said, do it a second time. Soak it again. And they did it a second time. And he said, no, do it again. A third time, and they do it a third time. This man done triple threat, soaked the altar. The man had them triple threat soak the altar. 3 times. Soakity, soakity, soak. Okay? It wet. So the water ran all around the altar, and also filled the trench with water. And it came to pass at the time of the offering and the evening sacrifice that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel, and I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. Hear me, O Lord, hear me, that this people may know that you are the Lord. You see where he's pointing people to? Is he doing this so people would know he was a prophet? No. Is he doing this to let people realize how great he is? No. Did any of the actions that were taken for the water being soaked and all this, was he doing that to show anybody himself? No. The same way Elisha didn't do it for himself. Because he was wearing the mantle of Elijah given to him by God, the mocking was really towards God. That's the real thing. Hear me, O Lord, hear me, that this people may know that you are the Lord God, that you have turned their hearts back to you again. See the emphasis here? Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice and the wood and the stones and the dust and licked up the water that was in the trench. I don't know about you, but if I was one of them people chilling, prophets of Baal was doing all this hooping and hollering and slashing and cutting and bleeding and all this stuff, and nothing happened. And then this dude pops in and puts himself at a deficit to prove God. Soak everything, drench it 3 times, make sure there's water all around, and then he just say, all right, prove to these people who you are, God. Let them know that you are calling them back to you again. Do your thing. Fire. Whew. Everything gone. Wham, wham, wham. Everything that was soaked, dry, toasted. Water in them, gone. Now, when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces and said, the Lord, he is God. The Lord, he is God. Now, that is what you call a flex. And Elijah said to them, seize the prophets of Baal. Do not let one of them escape. So they seized them. And Elijah brought them down to the brook Kishon and executed them there. Not only a flex for his people, but a flex to the idiots that followed Baal. So they got to witness him before dying. Prophets today do not point people to Christ. They point them to themselves as being sent by Christ. As they don't actually possess any of the power, but they want people to look at them as though they do. It really is that simple to look at. They do not care to follow God. They just want to come in the name of, thinking they're under the mantle of, but they're not. They haven't done a single thing for God. They have never helped his people. And I don't even if they did to try and help them spiritually, they haven't done that. They've never helped them physically. They don't help them learn. They want reverence. They want power, control, title. And nobody knows them. They are the prophets of Baal. All of them. The instant you can say something as stupid as God said and not a single one of them pop to fruition and be real, you lying on God. You are lying on God. And eventually it's going to come back to bite you. You keep it up, it's going to bite you. You might not think you're going to get any justice now. But it's appointed once for a man to die. And you may not see your punishment in this life, but you continue this crap till you die, and you're going to see it in the next. You're going to see it. It's going to happen. We just got to warn people about you so they don't follow. But if for whatever you give out, you're going to get it. You don't have to look. You don't have to stop at the count of the warning either. Continue to what you're doing. Do what you're doing. Right? You feel I'm gonna feel bad for you though? Nope. No. No. Even if your just up and comes when you're alive, I'm not gonna feel bad for you. You did this with a full throat and big chested, right? Enjoy the fall the same way. You're not a prophet. You don't do for God's people what a prophet does for God's people. You do for you. As for atheists that think that God is outside of his purview for doing and allowing Elisha to do what Elisha did, you have that ability to think however you think. Ain't nobody changing your mind, first of all. And anybody is trying to change your mind. That is for you to do. That's for you to do. And if God isn't something you want, then don't want God. You want me to burn in hell? I don't want you to burn in hell, but apparently you want to. Apparently you want to. I didn't tell you to burn in hell because, I want you there. But you apparently want to be there. So don't tell me I'm cursing you there. Nope. We have given you all that is needed to turn. You don't. So don't say I'm trying to send you to hell. Everyone has a choice to make, buddy. If God really loved me, why would he send me to hell? You mean I have to follow him? That's kind of the deal. Listen to me. If I were to tell you that I want you to come to my house, okay? I need you to come to my house. And then you say to me, what kind of house you got? And I said, well, it doesn't matter what kind of house I got. I want you to come to my house. And I tell you there'll be food there. But it starts at 7 and it ends at 7:30, but I want you to come. And you tell me why it's got to be from 7 to 7:30. Why can't you make it 7 to 8? Well, because there are other things taking place after 7:30 that I won't have time to feed the people I want to feed from 7 to 7:30. But I want you there. Please, I really want you to come to enjoy the food and the company from 7 to 7:30 at my house. I gave you the address. You have my phone number. You have every way of contacting me. Come to my house 7 to 7:30. Half hour, you eat, you go home. You say, well, I want to know what I'm eating first before I come to you. And I tell you, trust me, it'll be good food. Many other people are coming too. In fact, if you want the menu, this is what it is: lamb, mashed potatoes, some string beans, my signature iced tea. There's gravy for the mashed potatoes. Really good stuff. It has even heavy whipping cream in it, cheese inside of the mashed potatoes. Real good. And I tell you everything about the feast, give you the address, and then you don't show. But during the meal, I give everybody that shows up $5 million each. Now, I didn't tell you that I was giving out $5 million each. I was hoping you'd come for the free meal and enjoy the company. But I noticed that those who come really came to enjoy my company and me. But I gave them $5 million each. And I said, now go do what you need to do to take care of you and yours. You get wind of this $5 million that everybody got handed. Then you get mad at me for not telling you about the $5 million. Sir, I didn't tell the others about the $5 million, and they still showed up for the company. They showed up for me. And they got some more stuff on top of it. You said you weren't coming. You decided not to come. I gave you every option and I told you what was going to be there, the kind of food. I laid it, I gave you the address, I gave you directions, I gave you everything. And you still didn't come. Now you complaining to me that I'm the selfish one for not giving you $5 million and didn't tell you. No, I told you 7 to 7:30, and I got something else going on from 7:30 to the rest of the night. You wanted to put your criteria on mine. That's not how this works. I invited you to my house. It's my house. It's my hospitality, my food. You didn't show. And now you're getting mad that you didn't get the food nor the money. Now you're destitute and hungry. And you're getting mad at me for I didn't do this to you. You did this to you. God offers you life and joy in Him and unity with Him and peace with Him. He told you what to do to get there. But you don't want to do it. So if at the end of the day you don't, and then you find out that the people that did show up and did come have a different loadout than you at the end of their life, don't get mad. That's what you chose. You said no. I don't know what you expect. I'll leave you with this. If you are not willing to give God all, then you are not willing to follow God at all. He gave all. The least you can do is the same. The least you can do. The prophets that talk today talk from a position of wanting all, not giving. The prophets today speak from a place of wanting to have all the recognition, all the money, all the accolades, not to give it up willingly for the sake of the cross, not to bring people to God. No, no, no. Which is why you don't see them doing anything for the kingdom. They can't do one thing by the power of God. Not a single thing can they do by the power of God. But they're prophets. Somehow they want you to believe that their version of prophet is different than the old version of prophet because. Okay. Anyhow, it's a good Zoom question. And you know what? It's not just a Zoom question. I'll tackle that tomorrow. I'll tackle that tomorrow. Let me write that down because I know I'll forget it, even though it's on video. There, written down. I'll tackle it tomorrow. I promise you. All right. So update, just a small update for y'all on the housing issue. Um, it is super, 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 super tight over here, but um, the market is horrible. But we did manage to get okayed for one. Um, and it is a nice spot, no doubt, a nice spot. Um, but there are hurdles. There are some hurdles, and it is something that I was um, advised by the body to not be um, secretive about the need. Okay. And so I'm not going to be secretive about the need, but I'm also not going to be overly sharing about the need. Um, and I can tell you, um, there is a huge one, a very big need on my end, um, and not one that's surmountable on my own. It's just not surmountable on my own. And so for all intents and purposes, I'm going to put out um, a request for whoever and however um, help can be offered. I will accept. Um, I'm just not in a position where I can do this by myself. Um, as much as I feel I can do and do and do, the secondary part is the body ain't doing it. It is not in a position where I can go and just do something like I used to. It is coming apart at the seams. The body is, um, and so I'm putting out a parking of my, I guess you'd call it ego, but I don't know if it's ego. But I have an innate aversion to asking for help. Okay, I'm going to put my aversion to asking for help to the side. And so scrolling at the bottom, you know what to do is, again, always talk to him about it. I'm not asking you to just act. Um, and I'm also not saying that you have to do anything. That's also not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I, for myself, I'm just asking, and if it doesn't, then it doesn't. That's okay. I did read the comment. Yes, thank you. I will look for your mail, Luscious, and I'll be looking for the name um, Barbara in the mail. Okay. Look, at one point, I just get up and go and do. That it's just not the case and capable right now. Um, I tried doing the other day, and I found out the hard way. Um, that I'm not the same in the same location physically as I was even 4 months ago. Um, this neck issue is becoming a problem. Um, Maneuvering, even grabbing random things like even this, picking things up. It's weird feeling to not have an ability to hold on to stuff. But like I said, I can't get seen until January anyway. So it's just been a. I can be frank with you. It's a lot on the plate. There's a lot on the plate. And I do know he says he won't give you more than what he can give you a way out of. Um, but I'm not distrusting him at all. That's not what it is. Um, but I do feel the flesh trying to say that I should. I had a I was an electrician for a long time. I was an electrician, and I did I worked a lot. I worked a lot. My normal schedule was either 5 or 6 days a week, and 14 to 16 hours a day. That was my normal schedule, with a half hour to 40-minute commute both ways. Um, and one day I had a pretty severe fall, and it compressed my entire spine, and it hurt. it I couldn't feel from my waist down when it happened, and I had a very severe concussion that lasted about 3 days, and I have not been able to be the same since. But my neck within the last it's also part of the issue. I have a deteriorated disc in 5 and 6 of C, and there's no cushion in between C6 and 7, and it's pressing on the spinal cord and all that stuff. Um, my Cash App handle is what? I don't even know it off the top of my head. I don't know. Hang on. No, it looks like that. Yeah, with an E on the end. It looks like that. The name, and you'll see a black cartoon dude with a red tie. If you see that, that's me. Anyway, the fall was pretty severe, and went through some therapy for it. But then I also had more other issues that I had. I had a knee surgery. I had both rotators, had to have surgery on it, a bicep tear, reconstructed right wrist. Um, so there's a lot that hadn't happened to my body, but that fall was the worst of it. And I had, since that point, short-term memory loss, and that's still part of my struggle, which is why I think this happening is an amazing thing, because I would not be able to do this if not for him. So yeah, so doing things is not normally easy. I have to do things, and so I do it, and I pay the consequences later because it hurts, but I have to do what I have to do. But even with pain, it is not working. It's just not. Things are just starting to stop. Um, Hands are going numb and all that stuff. So it's a little bit crazy right now, to say the least. Um, it's a little rough. It's a little rough. Um, but noticing that things are falling apart on your body is it's a sobering thing, especially when you've done most of your life just doing, and not thinking about it. So, um, yeah, work hard one day, down three. For me, working hard one day, I can't afford to be down three. Um, yeah, I think most of it too is my mental. My mental is what really I have to fight with. I do contend a lot with my mind. Because I know that the flesh wants to tell me that this is what I fight to. My flesh keeps saying, you know what, this is what you get for having, this is what you get, which is what you get, this is what you get. Yeah, it's a cartoon guy with a red tie. Um, I do know that that's a lie, because forgiveness is what took place. But the mind is telling me that you should be able to do more. You need to do more. You're the man of the house. You need to do more, and push and push and push. And I do, and sometimes too much. Um, but now I can't even push as much as I want to. But I'm trying. But I'm trying still. I'm very stubborn. I will tell you. I'll tell you that much. I'm a stubborn old goat. I may not be old, but I feel like I'm 90 years old, and that old dude would get off my lawn. That's what I feel like every day. So we're all about transparency here. Okay. We're all about transparency. And I can tell you that the struggle is real, but it's not a conquering struggle. I don't feel beaten by it. Um, but I am aware of its presence, trying to put itself in there as a voice I should listen to, but I'm not listening to it. The tougher thing I'm fighting is the years long battle of not including the body in the walk. That's been my problem, is not including the body in the walk. Um, but I don't think I've experienced the body in action until the last couple of years with you guys. So that's been different. It's been easier for me to do that. Not easy, but easier. And so what he's been showing me is that the people that are following God don't have to push you to do anything. It just becomes a natural thing for you to gravitate to them. And that's what's been happening. So I kind of contemplated whether or not I'd address it, but I figured, you know what? It's park that mental crap and just say what needs to be said. So there is some need to go from this living situation with this house. You know me, I don't believe in spirits just saying on stuff, but there was a lot of demonic activity that was done in this house, and I don't know that it had a positive impact when we first moved here. And there's just something odd about it. It's just, you know, just crazy. Um, but I don't believe that there's a spirit here. That's not what I'm saying. There's just some things that I can tell you that this particular location has served its use, and it is like my body falling apart. It is falling apart. Um, I wish my bank still did Zelle. It does not do Zelle anymore. It doesn't do Zelle. Maybe one of the other people that in the audio in the chat might do Zelle, and they have a way you can send it to them, and they have a different way of sending it to me. I don't know, but my bank doesn't take Zelle. Unfortunately, sorry, it doesn't take Zelle. But we have trusted God so far because there are quite a few things that just fell through that didn't happen for whatever reason. And as upset as we might be that it didn't happen, but um, we're in where we're at right now. We're at where we're at, and we'll see how it turns out. Okay. I don't have Zelle, Laila. I don't have it. I can't act. The bank I'm with does not use Zelle. They did until last year, but they don't anymore. So I don't know why. I don't question them. That's the bank. I don't know. So they just don't do it anymore. It was easier than most things because there isn't a whole lot. There's no fees, and just send it and it's gone. But they don't. So, in any case, whatever you and God figure out, whether it's nothing, prayer, or something, I'm not here to tell you what to. I'm just giving you my situation, and the rest is between you and God, not between me and you. That's okay. Just so you know. And if you've watched this platform long enough, you know I don't ask. if if it's one thing I definitely don't do is ask you to do it. Um, this is a different situation, and it is one that I have analyzed, and I say I have to. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to turn. I have to ask the body. Gonna have to approach it right, and fully put it into his hands that way. So, um, yeah, just so you know, I don't want to have to, but, and it's almost like a guilt feeling for doing even this much. And that I have to fight too. Okay. Just so you know. So if you see me rambling, it's because it is a very difficult thing for me to do. And I want you to be aware that I'm not doing this because I feel like I should. I'm doing it because he told me it should be done because the body operates that way. I'm not saying he spoke to me in my head or nothing. I just know in the word it talks about the body. And I have not been submitting myself to the body that way by allowing the body to do what the body does. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Appreciate y'all. I really do. Um, love y'all more than you know. Um, More than you know, really more than you know. All right. I appreciate everything you guys do. Appreciate your prayers, your questions, your um, wanting to know how things are with my family. All of that, I can't thank you enough. And I only want people to encounter God in a more real and long lasting and meaningful way. That's all I want. So with that being said, we'll catch you guys tomorrow, God willing, for another, and I'll address that question for you, Tina. Um, and we'll go from there. All right. Thanks in advance for all the people that are going to, thinking about doing it, and the prayers and all of it. Thank you in advance. Wisdom calls to you from the street. So please, please, please find wisdom. Peace.
Hold tight the dreams, for if dreams die, rely on yourself.